Hello, this is coding Gicha for full-stack developers. Encryption with the 443 security protocol is said to enhance security, but it comes at a cost. The size of packets sent and received will inevitably increase compared to before encryption, resulting in a corresponding decrease in speed. To secure this, HTTP2 or HTTP3 must be implemented. HTTP2 transmits packets in parallel, removes duplicate headers, and compresses them, reducing latency. It also handles stream prioritization for parallel transmission. The HTTP3 was adopted in 2022, and NGINX supports HTTP3 starting with version 1.25. Currently, NGINX 1.24 is installed on the latest Ubuntu LTS version 24.04, and an NGINX version supporting HTTP3 will be available starting with Ubuntu 26.04 LTS. If you want to try HTTP3 in advance on Ubuntu 24.04 LTS, the latest LTS version, you'll need to register an additional repository before installing it. However, if you install from the repository provided by NGINX, the structure of the NGINX configuration directory will be slightly different. Since HTTP3's primary feature is maintaining connections even when the Internet IP address changes, for general services other than video services, there may not be a significant difference compared to HTTP2. I will refer to NGINX installed from the repository provided by NGINX simply as NGINX's NGINX, and NGINX installed from the repository provided by Ubuntu simply as Ubuntu's NGINX. Before installing the latest NGINX, I will back up the entire installed NGINX directory and use it as a reference to align the slightly different configuration directory structure with Ubuntu's NGINX structure. Before uninstalling NGINX 1.24, I will first stop NGINX. Since NGINX-related features are also installed when NGINX is installed, I will also remove the NGINX-**. I will remove packages that are no longer needed from the system. I will also clean up useless packages. I'll download NGINX's NGINX GPG key using curl. I'll register NGINX's NGINX repository in the apt sources list daemon directory. I'll update apt to reflect the added repository. I'll install NGINX's NGINX. The installed NGINX is version 1.29. I'll compare the directory structure of the previously installed Ubuntu's NGINX with the newly installed NGINX's NGINX. Ubuntu's NGINX has separate directories for each feature. NGINX's NGINX adheres to the default configuration, resulting in a simple directory structure. While all included configuration files are managed in the conference.d directory, Ubuntu's NGINX is separated by feature. Let's open the nginx.conference file. Ubuntu's NGINX process account is www.data, but NGINX's NGINX process user is NGINX. I'll change it to the www.data account. PHP's process account and listener account are also www.data, and since they also need to match the NGINX process account, it's best to change them to the www.data account. I'll place the configuration files for the sites in the Sites Enabled directory. Like Ubuntu's NGINX, I'll collect configuration files for all sites in the Sites Available directory and create symbolic links to only the sites I want to serve. I'll restore the gicha.org site configuration file to the Sites Available directory. HTTP3 uses UDP to maintain connections even when the Internet IP address changes. MKCert, which issues certificates for localhost in the development environment, only supports TCP, so HTTP3 cannot be applied. I need to apply HTTP3 to the certificate used on the production server, so I'll change the server name to the production host. The production server uses a Let's Encrypt certificates. If you match the certificate name in MKCert to something similar to Let's Encrypt, you can easily change it. Now that HTTP3 is supported, I'll first configure NGINX's NGINX to match the existing Ubuntu NGINX configuration structure, which supports HTTP2, before applying HTTP3. I'll also change port 80 to the production host. In Ubuntu's NGINX, the PHP integration-related settings are separated into a snippet/fastcgi-php.conf file. Let's create a symbolic link in the Sites Enabled directory. Let's create a snippets directory. I'll copy the fastcgi-php.conf file from the Ubuntu's NGINX I backed up. I'll check the contents of the fastcgi-php.conf file configured in Ubuntu's NGINX. It includes the fastcgi.conf file. I'll also copy the fastcgi.conf file from the Ubuntu's NGINX I backed up. In this video, I've copied the files from the backup, and I've provided the contents of these files in a way that you can copy them from the coding gicha. As mentioned earlier, HTTP3 also uses UDP connections. Since certificates generated with MKCert don't support UDP, I'll use the certificates currently in use on the production server. I'll add the hosts file to recognize the production host as localhost. I will register the host gurum.gicha.org at 127.0.0.1. I will restart NGINX. Let's access the address serving the website with NGINX's NGINX. You can confirm that NGINX's NGINX is serving properly. Let's open the developer tools with F12. Let's check the network status. Let's refresh the page to retrieve the network file information. I'll also display the protocol header information. H2 stands for HTTP2. Let's now apply HTTP3, the topic of this video. Let's open the configuration file for the gurum.gicha.org site. HTTP3 uses UDP to maintain connections even when the internet IP address changes, but TCP is used when initially connecting to a host. This means that both TCP and UDP configurations are required. Configuring HTTP to an HTTP3 for both IPv4 and IPv6 resulted in a rather large number of configurations. IPv6 is the next-generation Internet addressing system designed to address IPv4 address exhaustion and enhance security and efficiency. However, upgrading from IPv4 to IP version 6 can be costly and complex. Because IPv6 is used only in modern network infrastructures with IoT and microservices requirements, sites that require HTTP3 often don't require it. If the configuration seems complicated, you can usually configure it for IPv4 only. You need to add a response header that informs the web browser that quick upgrade is possible and that it should connect to port 443. The MA value is the amount of time the web browser can safely accept HTTP3 traffic over UDP. After that time, the web browser connection will revert to TCP. Let's reload NGINX. Let's refresh the web browser. If the HTTP3 connection isn't being reloaded due to cache or other reasons, you can right-click the refresh button to clear the cache and force a reload. This feature is only available when the developer tools are open. The H3 symbol indicates the HTTP3 protocol. The protocol of OGP.gig corresponding to the request address is H2. This is because the connection for the first request uses TCP and from then on, it connects using UDP. Thank you for watching.